Not today, not today, not today, not tomorrow. Get out my way, please, I'm trying to get paid. Not today, not today.
Welcome in, everybody. We are back for another edition of the NFL Weekly board meeting. It's always, as always, it's your boys, Kevin, Seth, and Steve. Going to break down the games games and teams through week 4 of the NFL season. Talk about some of the teams catching our eyes and teams overperforming, as well as break down some of the model predictions and other good stuff, other good tidbits for this week. But before we get into that, just a quick note, quick shout out. Definitely appreciate everyone tuning in right now. If you guys could please give us a like, please subscribe to the YouTube page. It greatly helps us. You see at the bottom there all of our socials across all platforms at Bully the Board. Give us a follow. We're really active and really big on TikTok, so that's our main one for sure. But put out content on everything else as well. So the more the merrier, of course. So that being said, boys, let's break down a little bit of these NFL teams and everything through week 4 here. So just using the eye test, Steve, like there was not as many outliers as there are, or as there appear to be this week after week 4. So having digested all the games from this past weekend, what'd you walk away with?
Bears suck. I think I'm walking around with no. It's going to be some. We'll talk about the Bears. I have a couple of really hot takes about them, but spoiler alert, we'll be talking about them in a few slides. I think this is really this is kind of you're molded into the NFL season, right? You have your quadrant of teams that are like, hey, we're here, no surprise. The Bills, the Niners, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, right? You have your laggers here. You got your Steelers, your Jets, your Giants, teams that you really didn't necessarily have high hopes for, Giants or Jets aside because of the whole Aaron Rodgers things, right? And then you have your WTF. Before it was, all right, it's only been a couple of games, nobody freak out, to I think we're officially in freak out territory if you're a Jags fan, if you're a Browns fan, and maybe if you're a Bengals fan, depending on how you feel about Burrow being hurt and the ceiling of that team here. So I'm loving it. And I can't wait to get into the picks this week.
Seth, what about you, man?
Yeah, I think so you're still time to freak out against the Jags even after they win in London. I would think that would be a little bit of a data point going forward, but I think the Bengals for sure maybe DEFCON 5, because to your point, even if Joe Burrow is injured, he's actually injured. So how's it going to get better? I don't know. That's a freak out. I think my worst nightmares came true. We had some, we do have some futures around the Raiders. Pretty sure that team is just horrible and sucks and is imploding in real time. Yeah, Bears are bad, but we called it. Sorry, Steve, but we did. We have futures against them. Yeah. So at least you're going to get paid for your misery. You know what I mean? It kind of works out a little bit. I don't know. I mean, the teams that we thought were bad are pretty bad. And then I would say, I don't know a single soul that still thought the Bengals were going to be this bad. I mean, we're talking an 11.5 win total. This is getting pretty scary. Obviously, injury has a lot to do with that. And then the Sean Payton experiment, ironically, they improved the offense, but then the defense is just atrocious, which makes no sense because that's the opposite of Sean Payton. Our model has been really, really, really dialing it in here. I mean, everybody was telling us how crazy we were last week when the model showed that the Bills should be winning that game. That was a pretty easy win for them. Not surprised. And we're starting to see, some of these teams pull away. 49ers look really good. I know, Kevin, you were really, really high on them before. Bills obviously taking a step forward. And I think we're still starting to see that incremental improvement from Kansas City. We talked about this last week. Is this going to be a really interesting Kansas City team with a good offense and defense? Because that's not how they've won in the last couple of years. Right. And then Baker doing his damn thing.
Yeah.
I gotta say it. I called this.
100%.
I called this. You take a good roster and you put in an average quarterback. That's not a crazy situation that they're going to have some success. They haven't really played that many good teams. They got beat up by a good team in Philly. But when it comes to this lower tier talent, Baker's doing his thing. Tampa Bay's doing his thing. And watch out for the Lions. They've kind of seemed like they're clicking on all cylinders on offense and defense this year. And if they can keep up on the defensive side just as much as the offensive last year, this is going to be a really dangerous team.
Yeah. I'm glad you gave yourself credit.
Taking the high road on what?
Don't forget about the Jags. They beat the Falcons in London. You've been talking the most shit about Desmond Ridder, and rightfully so. So are you taking a high road saying the Falcons are a good team, or are we just ignore the obvious that Ridder's playing like trash? That's the game that the Jaguars should have won with their defense.
No. This is not a high road. I'm just a junk at the wheel. I totally forgot that they beat the Falcons. No, I mean, dude, yeah, Desmond Ridder is the linchpin of that team. Call me out here. Are we going to see Heineke? Are we going to see Heineke this season? I don't think it's crazy that we are.
I have a hot take on that. I'll save it for when we talk a little bit later. But I have a very hot take on who we're going to see in wearing a Falcons uniform.
Wow.
Dang,
Justin Fields, I bet. Let me. I don't know. Maybe it's not. But my only other takeaway on this
Carson
is
Wentz?
the Steelers.
Our sweet prince.
Oh, that would be our sweet prince. He returns. No,
I just need to say it here. If they, he's not on a team. If they go sign Carson Wentz, I am auto fading the Falcons every single week. I don't care how good Bijan is. I don't care. Auto fade. I'm putting that out there right now today. I will die on that hill.
All right, real quick. My only other 2 points, and it kind of feeds into this slide too. So this is the offensive efficiency slides here. So the Steelers and to a greater extent the Pats here. Pats look very bad. We thought, we talked about going into this season. Matt Patricia being out, new offensive coordinator.
Bill O'Brien.
He had Bill O'Brien. Thank you. I was going to say Josh McDaniels. Bill O'Brien had ties to Mac Jones. Could that result in a step or two up for them?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it frankly hasn't. They've really struggled on that side of the ball for sure. And the Steelers with Kenny Pickett, I know he just got hurt last week. I read that he's going to be maybe in this week, not going to miss any time. But
really?
Surprisingly, but on the whole, man, they are squarely in the quadrant of role on the offensive side of the ball here. They're just not an efficient offense at all. And Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator there, like some weird stuff going on. Like I was all on Twitter again or X, and apparently Matt Canada created a bunch of burner accounts to like defend his honor. It's that situation.
Dude, the internet
situation.
Trust me, firsthand, the internet can be a brutal place.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, you don't need to convince anyone here.
Is like Kevin, is Mac Jones bad? Like, because we really have 3 seasons of data points, or we have 2 seasons of data points, and we're working on the 3rd. And he was pretty good in 1. He was bad in 1. And then now, so far, 4 weeks in, he's bad. Yeah.
So, I mean, not speak of the devil a little bit here. Let you want to just talk about it from an efficiency standpoint here. So yeah. I don't recall where he's at.
He's in the quadrant of highly volatile and less than average.
McDonald's, there is. Yeah. So is he a bad? I mean, he's definitely not a good quarterback.
I just like it was like a foregone conclusion. Like we kind of like all deleted the last season. Like, oh, it was bad because he lost Josh McDaniels, like, or whatever the guy's name is, their offensive coordinator. Like
Patricia.
Because his first year he had, I think it's Josh McDaniels, right? The head coach of Vegas. He had him and he was really successful. And then they lost him, and then they got Matt Patricia, and everyone was blaming Matt Patricia. And maybe, right, that is the case. But then, like, here we are, week 5, and he struggled against. I mean, now Dallas's defense is really good, but he struggled against the Dallas defense. He threw 2 pick sixes.
He had a fumble, scoop and score, and then a pick 6.
I mean, to put it in perspective, it was Bill Belichick's worst loss ever. So. Long way from Tom Brady.
Long way. Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir, indeed. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of interesting developments through 4 weeks of the season, effectively almost at the quarter mark already, which is kind of nuts to even say out loud. Shit really just flies by. But one more week, and
Can we go back, though? I want to talk about one more team that we've I don't want to say auto-faded this, but just once again, Vikings in the middle of this graph. Like, just I love it. This is just the best litmus test. People want to talk about, like, what is this graph? Like, these aren't real. You should put no. This EPA per play, when Minnesota just sits squarely right in the middle, you're like, yeah, this is the best ever. So I don't know.
I think we said it last week. It's like the North Star, man. It's like the one constant. You know, it's just you can orient yourself around them. You know, they're going to be in the middle, baby, dead center average.
Question on LA to you guys. Like, this is a team that now when we sit here 4 weeks in, we have some data. It's probably not as shocking. I was like almost more forgot about this team than we probably should have. Like,
Which
we were
LA?
wrong. LA Rams, because they won 2 years ago. Matt Stafford was hurt last year. And then we're seeing they're not fully healthy, but we're seeing some success from this team. Is it that crazy? And the question I have for you guys, do we continue to see the success from that team? Steve, what do you like? Do you think that that's going to continue here or no?
Yes, I have very tempered expectations, but yes, and I'll be the first one to admit, I was definitely extremely low on LA going into the season for everything you just said. Loss of the draft capital, loss of Cub, some figures on the other side of the ball, down to everybody else. But you look at this team, man, and Puka Nacua is playing his ass off, right? And so you have that. You have a Tutu Atwell that's going through. You've got Higbee doing his thing, and then you're getting cut back at some point, and Stafford's still slinging the ball. Like, this team is very, very dangerous. And I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to win the NFC West, but for me, they're a solidified wild card team who can make some noise, a la the 06 Giants was when the Giants came in as a 16 and ended up winning it all. Whatever year that was. Yeah, like, it was a team that people beat up on during the regular year. They got hot towards the end, and nobody wanted to play them in the playoffs. That's who this Rams team reminds me of.
Yeah, Kevin, anything additional there?
Yeah, I mean, I just to highlight here, just to piggyback on Steve's point, like, yeah, they are. And through the course of the first 4 weeks have continued to creep into the quadrant of elite on offense here. So Matt Stafford, he had injured himself in the offseason, or it was an elbow or throwing shoulder, right? I forget which one he was dealing with. So there was lingering questions of that coming in, and then you have the Cup injury at the beginning of the season. You're like, all right, this is going to go downhill pretty fast. But to Stafford's credit, to McVay's credit, I mean, they're figuring it out, and that's been his calling. That's been McVay's calling card, is like figuring this shit out with a decent quarterback and like nobodies and rookies on kind of spread throughout, and an aging defense. Like, who else is good on that defense? And granted, like here's defensive efficiency. They're effectively average, so not world beaters, but not bad either. So, and that's what's that's definitely what's keeping them. So I've been impressed with them. I've been impressed with them overall.
I mean, our models had them 2 out of the 4 weeks. We've, that's covering a team that's covered all 4 weeks. Like, very interesting there. It will be interesting to see if the model still starts to pick them. I was quite surprised at the current number of 4.5 of this week. The model didn't pick them, because I would have, to me, mental model, there'd be a little bit of value. I could see the number being 3, but I mean, we'll obviously see, and obviously the model knows more than me. So shout out to the model.
Right. So, all right. Speaking of the model, shout out, baby. We had a good weekend here. Went 3-1, so that we're at 12-7 official record through 4 weeks here. So, Cowboys. Just as a quick caveat, Seth, you can expand on this, but we disclaim at the top there. Anything 4% EV or greater is a bet, but when this opened at 7, it was only just under 3% EV, but crossing that key number, getting it at 6.5, turns it into a 4% EV play, right, Seth?
Yeah, and this ended up going against us. We got the 6.5 at around open when everybody was at 7s. There was an expensive minus 115, 6.5. We bet it because it, like we said in the recap last week, like, it makes the EV like 10% greater, just because that's such a key number to be able to win at 7. And so, but the market actually came down on this. I know that Rufus and Massey Peabody was on the other side of this. So, a lot of sharps came in on New England, and I guess one for us this time. But the market, and I think this game closed at 5.5. So, I mean, it came way down. So, I mean, Not surprised here, but yeah, that's where the value came from. Was at open there was a 6.5 when we were able to bet it.
Yep.
I mean, it was pretty much irrelevant for this game.
Right. And I didn't get a chance to watch the Eagles Commanders game, but they were I don't think at any point in the game the Eagles were covering the 8. I think it was a pretty close game throughout. I think they got up by 7.
I don't think they were ever covering. I mean, if you look at the box score, the Eagles dominated that game. It was really just a weird but like dynamic of scoring. And then obviously had to go to overtime. Now that was a weird game, but I mean, I think that was probably the right side. If you look at they out gained them yardage 2-1 on the passing game and the running game. I mean, it was a pretty big dominant box score, even though the score didn't reflect that. I don't know. Did you guys get to see the Rams game? That was the one that was pretty gnarly.
I was flying back from Montreal, so I didn't get any YouTube TV because you can't stream outside the country.
Yeah.
So I was flying back, trying to get it from airport to airport. And I got on a plane and they were dominating. And by the time I got to check the box score and I saw Indy coming back, I was like, oh, we just got bad beat. We got bad beat. And then luckily OT came in and, Stafford saved the day. But I my blood hole was
23-0, like safe as safe could be. And then just touchdown by
20,
touchdown, 2-point conversion. I'm like,
and then 23 unanswered points by the Rams. And then 23 unanswered by the Colts. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
It
was bizarre.
Stafford got hurt. His hip was out, so he was out for a drive. I'm like, oh my gosh, is he out for the game? Like this is we're gonna get bad beat so bad. Stafford and that was a clutch drive. They had an overtime. Didn't even give the ball back. Easy peasy. Shut the door. I mean, look, that's why you're using a model, guys. Like when you're winning up 23-0, that's why models are important. It puts the edge here at 3, which is much more in line with probably the true edge in that game, not a 23-point win. Things like that happening in the NFL are extremely rare. But obviously, we came out on top here, and that's why you bet where you have an edge, because there's more probability that things are going to work out in that direction. That's why there's an expected value there, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Seahawks one was just all gas, no brakes. I mean, other than ironically, the Geno scare in that game, 2 quarterback scares in both these games, but even Drew Lock came in and hooked us up with a quarterback or with a touchdown. So, I mean, the model has been on the right side of all the blowouts.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah.
And Kev, I want to say RIP to your bet. I'm so sorry of the Geno over, because I was watching that and I didn't see that after the game started. I'm like, oh, that's a damn. I like that. That's a damn good analysis. And then we know what happened.
I agree.
Well, you win some, you lose some. Oh well, I'll be back at it. I'm going to cook something up again this week, just because I'm gotta get the coin back, baby. Yeah. All right. The model rolls on though, of course. So heading into week 5 here. 4 official plays on the slate. So let's break down a couple of these. The Lions play the Panthers. So that our number puts that at -10 in favor of the Lions here. So spread open at 8.5. I don't know where it's currently sitting at, if either one of you guys have that handy.
It's sitting at 9 and 10 respectively. So it's on 10 at Pinnacle and 9 at Circa.
Okay.
There's mostly retail books. It's mostly 9.5s. So a little bit of CLV already. So Pinnacle is putting it at the number we're putting it at 10. And then Circa a little bit different. I fully suspect here that you're going to see a war at 10, because 10 starts to be a value on the other way, right? Because it's such a key number. So I won't be surprised if there's war. I won't be surprised if this closes right at 9, because there's going to be models, no doubt, and there's going to be angles that are going to like the Panthers at +10. There's just going to be. So I mean, we got 8.5, or I think I got 8.5. I think that's a good number.
Yeah, I did. And then Steve, all right. So Commanders at the Bears Thursday Night Football, or I forget. I think Washington's home, but Bears and Commanders Thursday Night Football. We got this at -5.5, and that's what makes it a 4% play. Because at 6.5, it's not. So we got it at 5.5. Is there any hope? Because they put up a fight against the Broncos, man. They put up a fight.
Well,
They showed signs
yeah,
of life.
No, they did, but the Broncos are the worst defense in the league, which is saying something because the Bears really should be the worst defense. They're actually the 31st. So I think what you saw here was you saw a good offensive output against a very poor defense. And then you're going to see this sort of fall back down to earth because Washington's defense is definitely a lot better than Denver's is. Now, here's the thing. So to your point, this is going to be the last game that we see a spirited, potentially motivated Chicago Bears team this season. Because if the Bears don't win this game, you have a very interesting development going on here. Remember, the Bears are already 0-4, potentially on the way to 0-5. They're firmly in the first seat for the first overall draft pick next year, right? Tied with Carolina. All right. But guess what?
Right.
Bears have Carolina's first round pick too. And so you have a potential here. Well, if Carolina continues to stink it up for the rest of this year, the Bears got the first 2 picks in next year's draft.
Wow.
And
Has
so
that ever been done?
I don't think so. And so
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you have a very real possibility where this is the best case scenario to completely clean house and rebuild. So you have 2 schools of thoughts. Either you're going to say, hey, remember, Justin Fields is not Matt Eberflus's guy, right? He was already here. It wasn't his guy. So you're going to say, hey, either Eberflus, we're going to tell you to bench Fields, start Tyson Bagent, your 3rd string, now 2nd string quarterback, and you have the rest of this season to prove if you're going to have a job next year or not. Or you're going to say, Fields, we're trading you. We're going to fire Eberflus, and we're going to trade you at the end of this year, but we're going to let you start so you can find a place for you to go. And if I'm a desperate Jets team, I know Zach had a good game. It's a good second half last week. If I'm a desperate Jets team, or if I'm a real desperate and anxious Falcons team, I'm definitely looking at Fields as some trade bait here, and I would not be surprised to see Fields in another uniform at the end of this season or really going into next season. Okay.
So you don't think in-season trades not on the table?
Oh, no. I think it's very much unintended. I think Atlanta is probably the number 1 team for an in-season trade for Fields.
So you 100%. think they lose this game potentially, fire sale, get rid of everything. We're going to get 2 first-round picks.
Yes.
We're going to get whatever we can get from Justin Fields. Okay.
Yes.
I don't 100%. That's not that crazy.
Yeah, and I think this is the last time you see a good game from them. And then going forward, either you're going to have a different head coach, different OC calling the plays with Fields on the field, or you're going to have the same miserable head coach, OC calling the plays with a 3rd string quarterback. Either way, it's fade city for Chicago.
I never thought I would say this 4 weeks into the season, but I'm a little bit jealous of you as a Bears fan right now, because going into the season, all the forecasts, the way too early mock drafts, all that type of shit, had the Cardinals picking 1 and 2 because the Texans were going to be so bad and Arizona was going to be so bad. And both of those teams to different magnitudes have overperformed expectations.
Yeah.
So, and because I don't think either one of those teams is going to be in play for the number 1 pick. So I'm a little jaded, frankly, about it. So shout out the Bears.
I will say the market did something we've seen a couple of times where they bought up all the 6s and all the 6.5s, and this thing got to 7, and they slammed Chicago +7, and this thing came shooting back down. Now it looks like it's settling around 6. I think there's a couple 5.5s out there. 1 5.5, 1 expensive 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be surprised if this is a 2 field goal game. Like, as much as the Chicago sucks, this is still the NFL. We saw, I don't remember what week it is. We saw Chicago versus New England last season where it was like a 9-point spread, 11-point spread, and all of a sudden they flipped the switch. We know that Fields can score. We've seen it. And especially if it goes full improv, sometimes you just literally can't stop him. So I don't know that this is a slam dunk. And I think you're right, Steve. Like, we're 4 weeks in. Like, they're still trying to salvage a season. They're not going to just die.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a competitive Chicago here. I don't think this is like the best bet in the world. Even at the 6.5, 6, it's not a play. The 5.5 is the play. Why? Because that 6, 2 field goals is such a big outcome for us to win. That's the only reason it's a play. So I don't know. I don't think the Atlanta take is too crazy, Steve. I think it actually makes a little bit of sense. I don't think the Jets will do it. I don't even think it makes sense for them, right? They to go from one probably bad quarterback to another probably bad quarterback or questionable quarterback doesn't make any sense. And from the horse's mouth, Aaron Rodgers is saying he's going to be back this season. He's already in rehab.
Yeah.
He's like he was already in a shoe. He's good to go. He's immunized, and apparently that means he can get back quicker than anybody else, and that would be dope to see. I think an Aaron Rodgers in the league is good for everybody.
Yeah, and I will say real quick, I completely agree on that. I think this is the last real effort you get from Chicago, which I think makes this game so dangerous, and that's why I definitely am not touching the sevens. The 5.5 is really the limit of this. Now, to your point, though, I do think Atlanta, I agree they are primed for this because you have the perfect scenario. You say, okay, we're going to bench Ritter, we're going to get Fields, but guess what? We've got Heineke as a backup who's proven he can win games in the NFL with Washington. Give Heineke the reins for 2, 3, 4 games, right? Get Fields comfortable in offense. Boom, make the switch over. I think this has Atlanta written all over it. So we'll see.
Yeah,
now, if Chicago wins, then it's a completely different scenario. But if Chicago loses this game, it's all in play.
Yeah, if Chicago wins, they're going to the Super Bowl. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. So this next,
I was gonna say the Finns. Are you talking about the Finns?
I was gonna talk about the Finns real quick because the Jets and the Broncos. Our model has that basically as a pick 'em. I absolutely hate this one. I don't even want to talk about it. Frankly, it's just like It's just like an ugly in every sense of the word. Yeah, this is the one I feel worse about.
No, yeah, I love this bet.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know if there's recency bias on both of our ends affecting this, but like obviously the Jets competed, to a decent extent with against the Chiefs, and the Broncos. Yeah, they just went toe to toe with the dog shit Bears. So yeah, I get it from that perspective.
This is why I love that. I mean, you have last game aside for Zach. That's not why I'm excited about this game. The Jets defense is legit, and the Denver's defense is not. And what you're going to see is the easiest game of Zach Wilson's career going on this Sunday. And you're going to see Russell Wilson, who that Denver offense is pretty good, but that Jets defense, I think it's going to be pretty. Now, you look over here, as go to the pass and rush defense. Maybe I have some recency bias from the visual take, but you have these two defenses who are coming in here. But that pass defense is pretty good, right, for the Jets. The run defense is something right, but the pass defense is pretty good. So I think you're going to have a tough time for Russ and a very, very, very easy time for Zach Wilson. A pick 'em. Give me the points all day.
I mean the market agrees. You cannot get 2.5s anymore. I mean, I'm not betting it. It doesn't meet the criteria of 4, so I'm not chasing it at 3 all day. If we would have been able to get 3s, I would have slammed this. Obviously, it would have been 4%. So obviously those are correlated. Yep. I don't disagree, Steve. I think at 2.5. Yeah, I think now it's at 1, which is basically a pick 'em.
Yeah.
Like I agree, but I wouldn't be surprised if Zach Wilson also sucks. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised at all. Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, so that was a weird toss up for me, but all right, yeah. Moving on though to the Finns, baby. Finns up. Let's go. Obviously came up short against the Bills last week, but Bills are by all accounts one of the few juggernauts in the league right now. So. Not a terrible outcome from that perspective, but yeah, minus 13 is what our model puts it at against the Giants. And I don't know, talk about recency bias. This one feels like, it's a double-digit spread, and it's a big one. We got it at 9.5, and that's the number you have to get it at for it to be EV here. But open at 11.5, I think it's hovering around there now. But
official open 11.5. This is not going to move. There's just not. No. I mean, it may move to 12. We're not playing any key numbers. So like the probability aspect of this is from an edge standpoint. Okay, it's 12, even 12.5. Like these don't mean much, and they don't move the expected value. 10 was the huge bump. Kevin, you said we got it. You got it because you actually pay attention and are smart. We knew going in. I mean, we had Seattle, going into that Monday night game. So we knew that probabilistic wise, that they were probably going to lose that game, which would affect this line. And we even told our board members, get the 9.5. Mm-hmm. I didn't get it in time, and snooze and I lose. So I'm not going to be able to play this personally, but I love that 9.5. Like this is a bounce back, get right Finns game just all day. Like that offense is not going to be slowed down. Like they don't even, the defense won't even matter. Like they don't even need to put a defense out there.
Yeah. all the ins and outs, we talk about the reasons why you build a model and then bet accordingly with it. You look at teams you wouldn't otherwise think about, and also the other element of that is when you feel shitty about a game using a mental model going in, sometimes the model predicts the opposite outcome, right? And this is kind of I don't know where this one falls in for me, but 9.5 feels safe. It feels good. It almost feels too good. And I can't shake the feeling. But there's really nothing to point to for the Giants, and I'm just trying to fall back on this just to give myself a little bit less, anxiety on Sunday. But there's really nothing to fall back on for the Giants to say like, oh yeah, they could backdoor us here. They suck.
I mean, yeah, and they haven't had barely any efficiency. I guess you could point to one half of football against the Cardinals.
Right. Yeah, exactly right. But look at quadrant of woe on for offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. Like what? So I don't know why I don't feel good about this. I should, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, with the efficiency of that offense for Miami, I don't think the defense here matters. Now, the way you're going to get backdoored is like, what was it? I think it was last season. Miami played Houston. They like went up like 30 points, and they had to like bench Tua in the third quarter because it made no sense, and they just like I think they ended up only winning by 2 touchdowns or something, but like maybe something like that. I mean, it is the NFL, so things are going to be competitive, but I mean, how do the Giants slow the Dolphins here? I mean, we saw what they were able to do, or what Seattle was able to do. And Seattle they are an efficient offense, but they're not. There may be a standard deviation less than Miami. I mean, this is one of the most potent offenses we've ever seen. So I don't know. I mean, you're kind of going to fight the good fight alone, because I mean, this is the other reason you use a model. Quantify your edges. At the current number, there's no edge. There's no point to bet it. So also chasing things, right? Well, you missed the boat. We identified it. This is why you got to listen to the model. This is why you got to take the edges when you have them, because they don't exist. When you think, the number will get better tomorrow. Well, it might not. It might get worse tomorrow. And that's exactly what happened. So I don't know. I wouldn't be so nervous. I'm happy to buy that ticket from you.
I'm gonna keep it. Like I said, 9.5 is good. Yeah, I'm okay. I'll work through it.
Even if you don't cover, it's a good ticket. It's a good ticket to have.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Agreed, 100%. So.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, show me on the doll with the backdoor touched you, right? Like I don't understand.
Well, talk to me Monday morning. I'll let you know where they touch me. Yeah.
All right.
All right. We don't got to spend too much time on this, but just a quick update for everyone. We had a futures model, and we've bet 8 futures over under wins accordingly for the various teams here. So through 4 weeks of the season, again, didn't really expect any of these to be, I guess, outside of really where they're falling. I am a little surprised that Carolina remains undefeated, and frankly, I was surprised a little bit that the Bears are winless yet, but they are who we thought they were now. So even if they go winless the rest of the season, would not surprise me. But outside of those 2 teams, everything else is kind of like not much to say at this point of the season. Right, still a lot of runway left to go. But I'm excited about all of the unders that we have. I will say that.
I was gonna say the only one DOA to me is the Raiders. Raiders are going to be a bad team. That house is on fire and each room is burning. People are getting arrested. Like Jacobs is talking about, like the literally thing is just burning down. And then Jimmy G is still not out of concussion protocol. I think unfortunately that one's wrong. I don't think they're going to win anywhere near 6 games. They may only win no more games. This may be their only win against the bad Broncos team.
Oh man.
I mean, it's imploding, is it not?
Yeah. All indications are that it's a ticking time bomb. Imploding yet? I mean, we might be the.
I don't think ticking time bomb. The bomb went off. What is the guy's name? I forget. He got arrested. He was going live on Twitter and Instagram saying like, McDaniel does cocaine.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like,
that's a whole weird
you got Josh Jacobs saying like, this is wild, dude. I'm just trying to win. These motherfuckers just suck out here. Like, it's just one bad thing after another. He's kicking field goals down by 8 in the red zone. Like, this is which shout out. That was nice for us. We covered. It was all good. But and I hope we make we'll probably end up making way more money by the model identifying this is a horrible defense, and we'll probably be able to bet against them a lot. But I just I think McDaniels is a bad head coach, unfortunately. And maybe that's how Mac's career gets saved. He gets fired, they hire him back to New England, and all is good again.
Yeah, I still think it's maybe I think it may be a little close here, right? I mean, because you have the Bears, okay, right?
Okay.
You've got the Giants, okay. You've got
Winnable.
potentially a Zach Wilson led Jets. Let's see how that goes. Jury's still out on that. All right, you got the average team in the league in Vikings, right? 1-score game variance. Maybe this time they bounce back against them. And then you've got the Broncos again, okay? So that gives you potentially 5 games you can win, which is 6. So then it comes down to, can the Raiders beat Colts team?
No.
So
Anthony Richardson looked good. Dude, and remember, this is revenge tour for the Colts because he was on a plane. He took the head job. He was on a plane to the Colts. He accepted the job, and he told the plane, turn around. I ain't fucking going there. Yeah. And then it came out later that he did that because Jim Irsay took a dump in his house, a big old dump, and he was like, dude, that's too much. So this is revenge for the Colts. They're gonna beat him by 100.
Jeez.
It's dead.
Shout out.
Dead.
All right.
This is rip.
Like I said,
R.I.P.
it's only 4 weeks in, man. Let's not call it yet, but we might be there.
And
soon,
one wasn't on there, but it's my favorite. Over 6.5 for the Bucks. Shout out, you know who you are. I'm taking that money. I may cover that here in week 7 or week 8. We got one loss, but man, that thing was easy peasy.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't cooked up anything else for the weekend yet outside of the model, but are you guys eyeballing anything or expect to? Because I will by the time Sunday rolls around, but I don't know what it is yet.
I've cooked one up. I can't give out the specific bet because the odds aren't up yet. But can we bring up the defensive efficiency graph really quick? Sure. Thinking about the matchup against the Rams versus the Eagles. Taking my own advice here, pass funnel team 101. I'm going to look to take Tyler Higbee on the Rams. I want his yards and I want his targets. So number of receptions. I think both of those, not only are they correlated, you usually can't parlay this stuff, but I'll independently both those. I think he's going to get the targets. He has 0 drops this year. I think that if the Rams are under pressure, that's the outlet he's going to be going to get those quick passes. And I think that he can obviously run. Washington, we called out Philly to be a pass funnel team last year, and we're like, oh, but Washington's not very efficient. And what do we know? They were even able to be efficient against that team. So I think this is a perfect setup, and I do anticipate a little bit of pressure for Stafford. I think the tight end is the best to kind of get those fast, easy receptions. The market isn't up yet, but I will be scooping those up early because I'm assuming they're going to give you bet up. So I'm going to be taking the favorites early here.
All right, good.
Nice.
Steve, anything for you, man?
Yeah, I'm on the Ravens, man. I know it's not a play here. Ravens, I think still live. You can still get my -4 here.
So breaking news: if Kenny Pickett is going to play, the model loves the Ravens. Like it literally gives it like a 15% edge. It puts the spread at 10.
He does not like Kenny Pickett. He had a quote
does not
today
like
that
Kenny
said
Pickett.
he'll be good to go by Sunday. He came out and said it.
I already ran the numbers the first time with him. I'll rerun them, but it loves the Ravens. Like maybe the biggest EV play I've ever seen the model give. So you're in good company.
100% EV. Yeah, no, man. I'm definitely all over. I mean, the Steelers offense looks absolutely abysmal. And the one game they didn't look abysmal was against the Raiders, who looky surprised. Oh, you actually go to the defensive one, Kev. Oh, yeah. And so, and the Raiders have moved in the better category since then, but the Raiders were, competing for dead last back at this point, I think, especially in the EPA pass. So, this is the Steelers team. I've lost all hope. I know Tomlin's done his magic getting 500 or better every year, but this Steelers offense looks absolutely lost, and give me the Ravens all day.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll run the numbers and we'll update. But if that is the
Sure.
case, if you're saying he's going to play, I originally ran the
Yeah.
numbers with Pickett and this jumped out. It was literally like it's insane, EB. I mean, it just doesn't like Kenny
Yeah.
Pickett.
Interesting.
And we're in that window where it's where we're working with Kenny Pickett and Purdy are the two quarterbacks this season right now, where we're working with the switch that happens when we flip the switch from, hey, you're a rookie or you have few starts, to, all right, you're on your own. And it does not like Pickett on its own, and it actually does like Purdy pretty good, and that follows obviously. Purdy's been much more efficient than Pickett, but yeah, I'll rerun the numbers, but I'm pretty certain that it loves the Ravens.
Good deal. All right, boys. Well, good stuff. Another good weekend of NFL football ahead. So we'll be looking forward to meeting next week, breaking down all that was and all that will be. So best of luck to everyone this weekend, especially if you're tailing the model and especially if you're a board member. Shout out. Boys, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you next week.
Boom.
See ya.